So the talk title today is called Rinse and Repeat. Have you ever really read the back of a shampoo bottle? It tells you exactly how to shampoo your hair. Now, we normally don't look at the back of a shampoo bottle, but if you actually were to read the directions, it tells you. Now, I'm not a person who washes their hair twice. I wash my hair once, the one time. That's all I do. I don't do the rinse and then repeat it. No, I wash my hair, I put the conditioner on, but if I followed the directions correctly, it would be rinse and repeat. Have you noticed that many times in our life we have that kind of pattern play out in our life? A rinse and repeat kind of a thing? It can happen, and it happens to a lot of people. It may be happening to you. You thought you were rid of something, but guess what? It comes back. Now, whether it's a person or a situation, it could be a consciousness of the way you look at life. So the first slide says this: we are as young as our faith, as old as our doubt, as young as our confidence, as old as our fear, as young as our hope, and as old as our despair. So we kind of go back and forth between that, don't we? We have that, I have faith, things are all working out in my life, and then sometimes I doubt it. And when I have faith in my life, for some reason, I feel younger, I feel more vibrant, I feel more alive. When I go into that place of despair, I feel older. In fact, I think I start to look older in the mirror because I'm scrunching. I'm looking, like things are wrong. But when the things are great and I have that faith, there's a light air about me, right? Same thing happens. I'm as young as my confidence. When I feel confident, I feel really young, right? As soon as I move into fear, I start feeling older. And it happens. I mean, I look at it this way. When I'm exercising sometimes, I'm very confident about what I'm doing until I trip. And then once I trip, I'm like, okay. And then I'm living in fear of tripping again, which actually causes me to trip again because I'm bringing through the law of attraction that which I'm thinking about, and I'm thinking about tripping, so I trip. I'm as young as my hope. As soon as I have a vision of an idea of something that can happen in my life, I get so excited. And then there are times when I feel really old because I sit and I look at a situation and it does feel sort of desperate. I'm like, oh, when is this going to change? And that makes me feel older again. Life is a never-ending series of episodes, each one requiring that we either learn a lesson or we repeat the process in a different episode. And kind of perhaps different characters. And that happens until we get it. And we're allowed, you are allowed to move from feeling young to feeling old because it's your choice. You're allowed to move on from experiences, or you can hang on to them and drag them into your next one. But when that's happened, has that worked for you? It hasn't worked for me. When I drag an old idea into a new process, usually people tell me, get rid of your old ideas and welcome something new and exciting. That's when I feel old, because I'm only bringing my old ideas forward. I'm not looking into the new ideas of possibility. The next thing, I don't understand why people are frightened by new ideas. I'm frightened by old ones. It may make us uncomfortable when we hear new and different ideas. But we really should be more reluctant to hang on to all the old things. Now, I can tell you that there are times in my life when it drives me crazy. And I'm sure you too. People are like, you know what? You should get this. Did you know this? That they have Wi-Fi washing machines now. What did we do before that we could run our washing machine from a phone? And now I think, where is this going next? I'm frightened by that idea. And why am I frightened? Because I can barely use my phone now, let alone you want me to wash with it, hook my dryer up to it, tell it what to do. I'm like, that's crazy. But it's a new idea. And I'm sure that my daughter, when she puts her dirty clothes in the washing machine, if she I don't know how she would forget to turn it on, but let's just say she wanted to delay the process. She could do it with her phone. I remember years and years and years ago, the 1980s, I was living in Baltimore, Maryland, and I think I've told this story several times, that someone approached me about investing in a company that eventually would make these things called cellular phones, and that we would be talking from car to car. And I remember in the 1980s, please, that'll never happen. Man, I wish I'd have given him $10,000 back then. I wouldn't be here, man. I'd be sitting on a yacht somewhere. That whole idea was just an idea that scared people, that we could somehow communicate with one another from our cars instantly. Wait, no payphone, no pagers? That'd be crazy. But look at what's transpired. When you live in fear of a new idea, many times we've held on to the old far too long, far past its expiration date. And maybe there are ideas in your experience that literally need to die, that need to go away, that need to be, you need to let them go so that the new things can take place. All right, when you meet someone, anyone, and you feel a sense of uneasiness or fear, there is probably something going on in you. Bless the other person for helping you define that fear, and then pray for yourself. If we are to become whole, it must be through the perception of wholeness. So let me unpack that for you. When you meet somebody and you have this uneasy feeling about them, you had that uneasy feeling about them because in some way, shape, or form, you have experienced it or have embodied it in your own life, and you see it in them and you don't want to experience it again. So you're already pushing it away, but you have an awareness about why you're having that feeling, because it actually is something in you. It is something in you that you have judged, or some perception that you have and that you've had and played out in your life in some way, shape, or form. So we watch that because actually that person at that moment is actually bringing us a blessing. It's reminding us that we're either still like that and we have a tendency to fall back into that pattern, or we don't want to experience it at all. But it's a reminder that something in them is actually triggering something in me. Which, when you look at the world and the conflicts that happen, it's really difficult not to experience that type of fear and have it be based on a total absence of any idea that is new. See if you can embody that idea. Many times we look at situations and we've already labeled them bad because of a past experience, but maybe, just maybe, there is some good within that, and we can relabel that and at least open up to the idea that there's the possibility that something exists in this opportunity that could bring something forward that could unfold in a way that is beneficial for me and to others. All right? You didn't make this world this way, but you did make your world this way. Let me repeat that. You didn't make the world this way, but you did make your world this way. That's a powerful statement. That is a really powerful statement, because Joe Hooper did not make the world out there, but Joe Hooper definitely had his hand in how his life is unfolding and what his world looks like. There's no doubt about it. Now, I can have a contribution to what happens in the world, but I don't make that whole experience happen. The universe makes all of that unfold. I do, however, have this creative element within myself that is outpictured in my life experience based on my thoughtmosphere, my ideas, and those things that I think about constantly. So I have created the world around me. So if your world is chaotic, I would say this: the world didn't make it chaotic. You did. If you're struggling in any area of your life, the world didn't do that to you. You're now creating it within yourself. And only you can rescue yourself using that creative power. The very power that created it for you now is the very power you're going to tap into to recreate whatever needs to be recreated. All right? You didn't come here with a mission to save the world, yet you came with a big mission and a very important mission, and that is to be happy in your world. Let me say that again. You didn't come here with the mission to save the world. We were not brought here to save the world, but you were brought here for a huge mission. And that is to show God a good time, to be part of a participating energy that is happy in this world, to be a vibration that attracts people into a state of happiness and peace, not conflict and chaos, but happiness and peace. My mission isn't to change the world. My mission is to make sure that I'm doing what I can do. And if I can share that with someone and it possibly can change the way they look at their lives, all for it. But my mission isn't to save you. No one can save anybody at anybody. The only person that can save someone is yourself. That's the only person that can do it. And usually, just something I've seen, you can try to rescue anyone, but until they're ready to be rescued, it falls on deaf ears. They're not going to hear you. You can send them all the books. You can send them all the links. You can send them all the articles that are going to help them get through this. But until they're ready, they're not going to hear it. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, then and only then will you do something about it. Not a moment before and not a moment afterwards. When I'm finally done, when I finally throw down and surrender because I've had as much pain. See, you'd think that pain going down would be the trigger. No, usually in the human process, we have to go, nope, I've got to hit bottom first. Why? Why do we feel like we have to go all the way and sink all the way down to that level before we jump out of it? That's not true. We don't have to go to the bottom. We can choose to jump off that ship before it sinks. Most people don't. Some people do. But most people will say, no, I can tolerate this. This is the way it is. This is God's will, and I will make it through this. And they don't jump off the ship and get on another one. Look, the funny thing about a sinking ship is that in our mind, think about this. If my ship is sinking, just imagine that the Creator has another ship going right by it, throwing out a dinghy and saying, come on board. And you just let it go by. You just keep hanging onto the deck chair in the Titanic. You just keep going down with it because you think for some way, shape, or form that this is going to be honorable or make you a better person or make you stronger. Get on the dinghy, babe. Next thing. In order to be happy, you have to look at what you believe, the way you judge yourself, and the way you victimize yourself. Ooh. In order to be happy, you have to look at what you believe, but more importantly, you have to look at how you judge yourself and how you create situations to be victimized. And I know people that create situations to be victimized all the time because they have a victim consciousness. So the universe is always feeding them scenarios, situations, so that they can tell people how they've been victimized. Not exactly showing God a good time, right? So in order to be happy, we have to remove ourselves from that place of judgment and feeling like we're a victim into a place of being proactive in doing things that will move us in the right direction. And that's a choice. That's a choice that we make. We don't have to stay in the role of victim. In fact, I would say this, and now I've gotten a lot of crap for saying this. You're only a victim once. The second time, you're a volunteer. And the third time. And the fourth time. Ask your sixth husband. And the sixth time. Right? You were not victimized. You volunteered. There's a triangle of destruction. And I call it the triangle of destruction because it is. It's got three sides to it. There's judgment, there's blame, and there's guilt. And then rinse and repeat. Judgment, blame, guilt, rinse and repeat. So let's go through this. The larger the island of knowledge, the greater the shoreline of possibilities. Remember this, the larger the island of knowledge, the more you become aware of things, the shoreline of possibilities expands. When you feel yourself contracting, think, I gotta change islands. I gotta get to a bigger island. I have to change this consciousness, literally step over to a different space that has a greater shoreline of possibilities. Because as long as I'm on that smaller island, and people do this, I've done this in my past, where I just sort of contracted myself thinking that in some way, shape, or form that was going to create some expansion in my life. I have to withdraw to move forward. I think you expand and you move forward. I don't ever know of anyone that's ever contracted their way into goodness, that shrunk their way down into their greatness. It's people that stand and authorize their experience. They stand and they step into that goodness. That's when their shoreline expands. That's when opportunities begin to surface. That's when people start to show up in your life that you've been waiting for and wanting. They now have a shoreline to come up and actually engage in your life. But as long as you keep shrinking down and shrinking down and shrinking down, the possibilities keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Whether it's relationships, whether it's your health, whether it's your finances, whatever it is, as long as you keep shrinking it down, just remember the shoreline gets smaller and no one can come aboard anymore. Right? All right, next thing. Our constantly changing life requires that we expand our knowledge base. Expand how we treat ourselves. Expand how we treat others. Expand how we maintain our spiritual relationships. So let's unpack that. Our constantly changing life requires that we expand our knowledge base. It's funny to me, and I have to say that I think I've gone through a couple phases of this, but I know people that when things get really difficult, they say to themselves, I can't come to the center anymore because I have to concentrate on myself. I'm thinking, that's actually when you need to go to the center to continue to work on yourself. Don't withdraw from the very energy that's expanding you. You can't contract into it. That's the time to lean into it, into your spiritual relationships. That's how you lean into that so that the shoreline can expand. It's when you don't have that idea that you begin to retreat and contract and people begin to walk away in your life. And then you ask why they did, because you're shrinking the island, they fall off. Before you even voted them off. Next thing, last thing. There are not 7 wonders of the world. We have a talk about the 7 wonders of the world. I don't even know what they are anymore. I have memorized them for school. But I tell you what, they're this. There are 7, billion, 800 million, and there's this counter that keeps showing more and more people that are coming to this world. There's not 7 wonders of the world. There's 7 billion, right? There's 7 billion, almost 8 billion wonders in the world. And each one of us have a choice. We can either rinse and repeat, or we can develop something new and expand the shoreline of our knowledge, our wisdom, and welcome people to our island, which is one that has peace of mind, that has joy, that has a vibrancy, that has a vibration and a connection, one that has a frequency where you want to hang out, where you want to be a part of things. In my mind, I keep wanting to repeat those experiences. I want to keep having those life experiences with some of the 7, almost 8 billion people on this planet. There's not 7 wonders of the world, there's 8 billion. To think that any one thing or one person can occupy that for your entire life, there's a whole world out there. When life changes, you have to change with it. You have to embrace it. If the job goes away, there's other jobs out there. When your health starts to decline, there are ways to heal yourself. All of these things are available to us. It's not a finite thing. There's this infinite thing. And if you even look at the thing called Worldometer online, if you look at this thing called Worldometer, it says how the world population is increasing, and it shows you the deaths, and it shows you the other things, and it shows you statistics, but it shows you how the world is increasing every second of every day. That means these possibilities keep popping up, that all these opportunities keep filing into this thing called the earth. And when that happens, that means I can engage in those things. I can be part of that creativity. I can be part of that life. In fact, I already am. It's how I choose to use that power. That's my choice. So end your lesson.
What a magnificent service we've been having, isn't it? Just wonderful. Dr. Joe's message, how blessed all of us are to drink all of this goodness in. And what a wonderful opportunity right now for us to contribute, circulate to our center, all that wonderful financial goodness that continues to sustain our message, our ministry, and everything that we're up to. So just for a moment, join me in a brief prayer as we lift up each one of us and our community in the name and nature of that one presence and power that we call life, that we call love, that we call God, that does continue to sustain each one of us in our goodness and in all of our blessings. So as we consider our gift right now, whether we've already mailed it in, we're about to, text it, go to the website, whatever it is, that we raise it all up knowing that as we give, we receive, and as we receive, we give. I'm so grateful for this holy moment of circulation. I call it good, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, community. You'll be able to see right there on your screen all of the magnificent ways that you can contribute to our center. We welcome all of it. Thank you so much for your goodness today.
Another inspiring Sunday with Dr. Joe's great talk. So I'm going to do a little closing prayer for us as we leave here this week. There is but one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. I am this individual expression of this perfection of life. Life inspires me to create. I turn away from that which irritates me and recognizing that that is my gift. That is my gift to look within. What is mine to heal? Spirit is constantly showing me the way, showing us the way of us raising ourselves to that higher ground. And so I know that every stepping stone in my life, every boulder sometimes in my life is an opportunity for me to raise my consciousness. So I raise my consciousness. I accept what life gives to me and I turn it from lemons into lemonade, knowing that it is perfect, knowing that I am always given gifts in my life. And so from that place of gratitude, from that place of love for everything and everyone in my life, I am so grateful. I am so grateful for this center that each week provides such incredible spiritual, uplifting messages for each person that works to bring forth these messages. I know that I am truly blessed. I know that this center is truly blessed. I know that each and every one of you is truly blessed. And so for that and for so much more, I am grateful. So knowing that this is the truth, knowing that life is perfect, whole, and complete in every moment because it's all God, I just let go, knowing that this is the truth and let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Have another amazing week, everyone. We'll see you throughout the week and we'll see you next Sunday.